You're listening to the Gloves Off podcast, powered by IE Sports Radio, the show that brings you raw boxing debate, with your host, Marcus LosGreat.
What good fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus LosGreat, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. Welcome back to the Gloves Off podcast. Your first, your last, your everything. And all that is combat sports. We are coming to you live, straight from the basement in a risky. We are powered by radio. Your director. Church is now in session. Before we get started, I just want to give a huge shout out to you, the fans. Thank you guys for liking the videos, for subscribing to the videos, for sharing, liking, commenting, everything for the videos. Your boy is very grateful. Now let's cook. Season 5, Episode 1. Your boy has been away for a minute, and it's time to cook. You know what I'm saying? It's time to cook. So where do we start? Let's talk about what happened last night. Versus Jaime Munguia and John Ryder. Jaime Munguia utterly destroyed. Ryder. He showed him that he didn't belong in the ring with Jaime Munguia last night. Which leads me to this. And if you've been following your boy's Twitter, you know I've been on the lines all morning. You know what I'm saying? I've been asking this question. I've been looking for an answer. So I'm just going to throw it out there. Is Jaime Munguia elite? Is he elite? You know what I'm saying? Did last night's win make him elite? Do we now view him in the same light that we view a Canelo Alvarez? Do we view him in the same light that we view a David Benavidez? That's the question. Do we view him as elite? He's at 168 pounds. He has had over 40 fights. At this point in stage of your career, you should be elite. Yet he has no titles. His most significant win was the win that he had last night versus John Ryder, who has never been more than a fringe contender. Now put some respect on John Ryder's name. He is a top 5 contender in the division. But we don't consider John Ryder elite. We just don't. No one here is arguing Or no one here is saying that once you beat John Ryder, you deserve a fight against David Benavidez. That you deserve a fight against Canelo Alvarez. No one here is saying that. So I think we have our answer. Our answer is Jaime Munguia hasn't done enough to prove if he is elite or not. And if you haven't done that in 40 plus fights, will you ever do that? Is the next question. Will you ever show us that you're elite? Will we ever consider you elite? That's the question, ladies and gentlemen. That's the question. My answer has to be that I don't think we will ever consider Jaime Munguia elite. I don't think he beats guys like Canelo Alvarez. I don't think he beats guys like David Benavidez. In fact, if you've been following me, and your boy's got a little following, you know what I'm saying? Your boy's got a little bit of a following out here in these Twitter streets. You know what I'm saying? If you've been following, you know that I believe that David Benavidez destroys Jaime Munguia. I believe that Jaime Munguia is food for the elite. Food. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Oscar De La Hoya knows that he's food for the elite. That's why Oscar De La Hoya has been protecting Jaime Munguia up until this point. He has. You know what I'm saying? We can make all the excuses in the world of why he hasn't fought the elite, but the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. He had an opportunity to fight Canelo Alvarez. They were on the same network. Yet the fight never happened, never got signed. Sure, they had separate promoters. You know, you had Matchroom with Canelo, you had Jaime Munguia with Golden Boy, but they were on the same promotional company. I mean, the same network. And that's when you bring big fights together, the network is the main thing that stands in the way, not the promoters. So why is this is the question that I have for Oscar De La Hoya, because he was on, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys seen the press conference. My boy was cooking, you know what I'm saying? He was on PBC's head last night. He was on their heads last night. You know what I'm saying? He was asking the questions that we needed to ask. But, no one challenged his questions. And I wish I was at that press conference. You know, your boy was in the arena, you know what I'm saying? I was around the ring, but I didn't make it to the press conference. I should have slid back there. You know what I'm saying? I should have slid back there. You know what I'm saying? But nah, I was in the arena. I was watching the action. Next time, Oscar, you got to watch yourself, bruh. I might slide back there to that press conference. You know what I'm saying? And start asking them questions that need to be asked. The main question that needs to be asked is this. You say that Jaime Munguia deserves a fight against Canelo Alvarez. Why didn't that fight take place when Jaime Munguia and Canelo Alvarez were on the same network? I don't need excuses. I don't need excuses. You know what I'm saying? Your boy deals in a no excuse world. You know what I'm saying? No excuses. But I need answers. We need answers. You know what I'm saying? We need answers. You know what I'm saying? Don't come in here, you know what I'm saying, talking about you can't handle the truth. Oh, we can handle the truth here. You know what I'm saying? We deals in some truth. We deals in the truth. The truth. We don't want no excuses, Oscar. We want to know it was on your time and you did not get the fight for Jaime Munguia. But yet, you want us to believe. You want all of us. You want all of us to believe that now that Oscar, that basically you have Jaime Munguia in a position. You want us to believe that now that Canelo Alvarez is with a new network, he's now on Amazon. You want us to believe that you guys can make this fight between Jaime Munguia and Canelo Alvarez on a different network. You want us to believe that when you couldn't get it done when you guys were on the same network. Oh, it's disgusting. Oh, it's disgusting. Because I don't believe that this fight will ever happen unless, unless, unless Canelo Alvarez chooses to go back to the zone. Every time someone tries to fight Jaime Munguia, the main thing that pops up in Oscar's contract language, and I am doing air quotes, in the contract language, is how the zone invested in Jaime Munguia and they need to receive compensation. Now, I'm a capitalist. You know what I'm saying? I'm a capitalist in every sense of the word. You know what I'm saying? Your boy believes in big business. Let's make it happen. But if it couldn't happen when you guys were on the same network, what leads me? What leads little old me in Phoenix, Arizona to believe that you guys are going to do it now? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's like somebody pissing on your leg and calling it rain. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. So and I'm going to say this until Oscar De La Hoya proves that he is serious about this, please, please, please save us the press conferences talking about Canelo Alvarez. Please save us the press conferences talking about David Benavidez because it's all smoke and mirrors. You know what I'm saying? It's all smoke and mirrors. You know what I'm saying? You don't want real smoke. You know the moment that he steps into the ring with any one of those two fighters, he's going to get exposed. Oh, it's going to be disgusting. Oh, it's going to be disgusting. Especially if he steps in there with David Benavidez from Phoenix, Arizona. Woo! Oh, they're going to have to pull him off of him. You know what I'm saying? My boy is going to be cooking. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be smoke coming from that grill every time he open, the tray. A whole bunch of smoke is gonna be coming out. And I don't think y'all really want that smoke. Let's just keep it a stack. You ain't built like that. Now, no one can take away the fact that when you fought Oscar, you wanted all the smoke, all right? No one's saying you don't want the smoke. But that time, that day, that place has passed us. You ain't fighting anymore. Now you have to put your fights in the hands of your fighters, and your fighters ain't built the way you was built. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the skills that you had. That's the same issue that Floyd Mayweather is running into right now. You know what I'm saying? His fighters aren't built the way he was built. You know what I'm saying? So, I think the good Lord was looking out for you yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Your boy had a little too many drinks while he was in the arena. He was enjoying himself at the fights. But you guys made sure that I didn't make it to that press conference. Because if I made it to that press conference, I would have definitely had to ask you a few questions that we all need answers to. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Oscar De La Hoya. Shout out to Jaime Munguia. You guys came to Arizona. You guys showed out. You know what I'm saying? We had a packed arena. Oh, it was beautiful. Oh, it was beautiful. You guys definitely should come back down here and do it again. Top Rank does events down here in Phoenix, Arizona. That's always popping. We need to get the PBC down here. We need to get Eddie down here. You know what I'm saying? Arizona is a fighting man's town. Every promotional company should have events in Phoenix, Arizona. You know what I'm saying? And by the end of this, I'm going to make sure I see to it. Ah, that's a good way to start back season 5, episode 1. Another thing that was definitely on my mind while your boy was on vacation is the announcement of Keith One Time Thurman returning to the ring against Tim Tszyu. Oh, it's disgusting. Oh, it's disgusting. So we got Keith One Time Thurman, a 147 pounder, moving up to 154 pounds to fight Tim Tszyu. This isn't even going to be for his WBO belt because the WBO refuses to even sanctionize this fight. And you know why they refuse to sanctionize this fight? They refuse to sanctionize it because Keith One Time Thurman is a 147 pounder. Now, if he was a champion at 147 pounds and he decided to move up, that would be different. They would put him in their rankings and then they would sanction the fight. But because Keith One Time Thurman is not a champion, he holds no titles at 147 pounds. The WBO refuses to sanction this fight. Now you say, why is that important? Well, I believe it adds validity to this fight at 154 pounds. If the title was on the line, it would make sense. It would make sense. Unfortunately, right now, it doesn't make sense. Let's look at all the factors, ladies and gentlemen. The factors are Keith One Time Thurman has been inactive for the last 2 years. Now, if you look at all the PBC fighters, all the last PBC fights within the last year, year and a half, give or take. The fighters that have been losing the fights on the PBC brand have been losing due to inactivity. Don't take my word for it. Do your research. Don't take my word for it. You know what I'm saying? Do your research. Inactivity has been killing the PBC. All the top fighters of the PBC have been losing fights due to inactivity, not due to better opposition. It just so happens that when they step up in class, that they are fighting better opposition. But how do they expect to win if you've been out of the ring for a year to a year and a half to 2 years? How are you expecting to win? That to me is looking like the cash out. It's looking like you are chasing the bag. Oh, it's disgusting. Oh, it's disgusting. And then the other thing that we have to look at is that this card, even though it's on Amazon, even though it would happen in March 30th to be exact, it would be on pay-per-view. It would be on pay-per-view. And why is the fight on pay-per-view? The fight would be on pay-per-view because Keith One Time Thurman has a 1.5 pay-per-view guarantee in his contract. You have to be able to generate money in order to make the fight. And that's the reason why they would have to be on pay-per-view. Now, I hear boxing fans, groaning in the background. At the end of the day, these fighters have guarantees. And the only way that we can pay these fighters their guarantee is by putting them on pay-per-view. Now you say, well, this is not a pay-per-view fight. Well, if this fight sells 100,000 pay-per-views, this meets the minimum requirements for this man's pay-per-view guarantee. So regardless if you believe that the fight is, pay-per-view worthy, at the end of the day, they don't have to sell that many pay-per-views to meet this man's guarantee. They just don't. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. I'm just telling you the game. I'm giving you them sprinkles. You know what I'm saying? Well, how can we change this? How can we get pay-per-view out of the business? Well, the only way that that happens, the only way that that happens is if fighters stop getting minimum guarantees on their contracts. Why would we want to do that? Why would we want to get rid of fighters making a minimum amount guaranteed per time that they fought? Well, it's a double-edged sword, if you ask me. You have on one hand, if you do have a guarantee, that it could, lead to inactivity. And then on the other hand, you want fighters to get paid. We've all seen how fighters get paid in the UFC. We all seen how fighters get paid in the UFC. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? You guys are chasing Dana on message boards. You guys are hitting him up on Twitter, talking about his fighters aren't getting paid. Yet they continue to run pay-per-views at least once a month. Last year they ran 12 pay-per-views. 12, count them, at $80 a pop. Count them. Yet, when you go look at the payouts for some of his fighters are making as little as $5,000 to perform. Now, I believe in big business. You know what I'm saying? Your boy is a capitalist. But you must you must underline, you must highlight when there is greed. I get it. The UFC is worth a lot of money. And they kept us quite entertained during the pandemic. They were the one company that refused to allow the U.S. to shut down their business. We get all that. We appreciate all that. But we cannot say that we stand for fighters getting paid and then in one sense and then in the next sense cry about pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? We can't complain about that. So in one sense, pay-per-view it should be it's necessary in the sport of boxing. In another sense, we don't want to pay for certain fights on pay-per-view. Well, that is where free will comes in. Say it with me, ladies and gentlemen. Free will. If you want to watch a fight, then you pay for it. If you don't want to watch a fight, you don't pay for it. It's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. We got to stop the crying about the fact that fights are on pay-per-view. We got to stop crying about it. Because at the end of the day, these fighters they deserve their guarantees. They entertain us. They put their blood, sweat, and tears out on the line for us all the time. They deserve it. And they don't only deserve it when they fight who you think that they should fight. They deserve it every time they step into the ring. That's the line I'm willing to stand on. That's the box that your boy is willing to stand on. You know what I'm saying? So, as much as I don't want to see Keith One Time Thurman and Tim Tszyu on pay-per-view, I like the fight. I think it's going to be a highly entertaining fight. I think that you're going to have Tim Tszyu's pressure versus Keith Thurman's boxing ability on display. I think we have the drama element that Keith One Time Thurman could possibly hurt Tim Tszyu, even though he is the boxer going into this fight. And I think that is a good mix, a good gumbo, as they would say, that makes a good pay-per-view. On top of that, the card is stacked. We got to stop crying as boxing fans. We got to stop crying as boxing fans. Speaking of crying, I seen you guys crying about Anthony Joshua signing on to fight Francis Ngannou. And I was kind of with you guys on this one. Just because you know I've been on my soapbox crying, pleading, begging. Begging! I've been begging for Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. It was one of the first fights that me and Larry B was talking about when I first came to this channel 5 years ago. We were excited about that fight. Then we couldn't wait to see that fight. You know what I'm saying? We both had ideas of how the fight would go. But at the end of the day, we both wanted to see the fight because we knew that it would be fairly entertaining. Regardless if you were Team Joshua or Team Wilder, you knew that if we get those two guys into a ring, it would be explosive. It would be explosive. You know what I'm saying? And now it looks like we may never get to see that fight because, unfortunately, Deontay Wilder lost to Joseph Parker. And because he lost that fight, Team Joshua doesn't seem motivated to make a fight between Joshua and Wilder. And that's unfortunate. Unfortunately, boxing fans are going to lose out on that. So now we're going to get Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. The same Francis Ngannou who went to knock down Tyson Fury in their matchup. The same Francis Ngannou who was outpointed by Tyson Fury. In a fight, I might add that some of you guys thought that, Francis Ngannou won. I wasn't one of those people. I believe that Tyson Fury did enough to win the fight. I didn't expect Tyson Fury to completely dominate and outclass Francis Ngannou. I did expect Tyson Fury to knock out or to hurt Francis Ngannou, which didn't happen. This won't be the first time your boy's wrong, and it won't be the last time. It's all right. You know what I'm saying? My ego doesn't work that way. But I think this would be a good, entertaining scrap between these two guys. You know what I'm saying? Do we need it? No, we don't need it. But will it entertain us? Will it, make us think of, realms of possibilities? Would we prefer that AJ was fighting for, the title? Yes. Unfortunately, Tyson Fury and Oleander Usyk are due to fight, and they're going to go ahead and decide who's going to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. So while they're fighting, Anthony Joshua needs a dance partner. And who better as a dance partner than Francis Ngannou? I would prefer, I mean, we all got preferences, right? We all got preferences. I would prefer it to be Deontay Wilder. But, if it's Francis Ngannou, I'll be entertained all the same, right? I'll be entertained all the same. I want to say thank you. I appreciate you guys for checking out another episode of the Gloves Off Podcast. I want to give a shout out to the chat room. I want to thank Jen B, Larry B, and the hardest working man here at IE Sports Radio, Mr. Terrence Rodriguez. Thank you guys for joining me today. Shout out if you listen to this on the replay. You're now a member of that replay gang. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Gloves All Boxing, where we discuss all combat sports. Remember to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is your boy, Marcus LosGreat. I'm out. On to the next.
Podcast, brought to you by IE Sports Radio.